it's almost to the point where it's like almost sick that they're waiting for former players are waiting for other current players to fail so that way they have something to talk about.
You got your podcast. You're a fake analyst right now. And guess what?
Analyst, yes.
I mean, you get to do what we're saying you need to do.
Cowboys Nation, in my former life, I used to make hip-hop music. I remember one of my songs. It's titled Beat Drop. In that song, I said a line that was something along the lines of, if the hair on the back of your neck stands, when you hear this jam, odds are the shoe fits. So jump, man. Did the hair on the back of Richard Sherman and Keyshawn Johnson's neck stand? Because I can bet my bottom dollar I have a feeling on who Micah Parsons is talking about. Let's get into it.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
What's going on, Cowboy Nation and angry Cowboy fans around the world? It's your boy, the Angry Cowboys fan here on YouTube, the place where y'all can find my raw and uncut emotion about the Dallas Cowboys 24/7, 365. And as long as I'm alive, y'all know I'm DC for life, baby. And if you're DC for life, won't you go ahead, hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to what we do here because it's absolutely free to do. And guess what you do? You help the Angry Cowboys fan channel when you do it. On today's episode of Undisputed, Keyshawn Johnson, Richard Sherman, and Skip Bayless talked about the most recent episode of Micah Parsons' podcast, The Edge on Bleacher Report. On his podcast, Micah mentioned some of the talking heads that I and other Cowboys content creators have made videos on, but didn't mention them by name. This struck a chord with the guys on Undisputed, but before we get into what Undisputed had to say, let's take a listen to what Micah Parsons had to say, and then we're going to come back and unpack my raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, take a listen.
Like, what I understand is like everyone just waits for the Cowboys to lose. I saw multiple analysts, people who are fake analysts who somehow got jobs on TV saying, there goes your boy. Like, it's almost to the point where it's like almost sick that they're waiting for former players are waiting for other current players to fail so that way they have something to talk about. And I mean, it's not even to just get into names. I mean, I feel like at this point you kind of know who you are. And it's like, oh, there he is. That's the person we've been waiting for. And it's like, why do you want a person to lose so bad? As a former player and as a current player, I feel like I'm a fan of the game, right? Whether I'm playing Josh Allen or whoever, at the end of the day, I don't want to see Josh Allen hurt. I don't want to see him fail. I want him to have a continuous career. At the end of the day, obviously, when we're playing and we're lining up, I'm trying to beat him, right? But it seems that a lot of people are just waiting for people to fail.
This man is on his podcast talking about his inefficiencies. He's on his podcast talking about where the Dallas Cowboys went wrong on the defensive side of the ball, as well as a team, taking accountability for the loss in Buffalo. This is how he started out his podcast, and I'll leave a link to the full episode in the description. No one can be harder on oneself than themselves. He admitted they couldn't stop the run. We need to play better and get better. Did he go in on the talking heads? Yes, he did. But he did leave out some names, and I feel this is where Keyshawn Johnson and Richard Sherman felt like he was talking about them. So we're going to take a listen to what Richard Sherman had to say. Then we're going to come back and unpack that raw and uncut. So, Cowboys Nation, take another listen.
Here we go again. Micah Parsons on his podcast yesterday, his weekly podcast, lashed out at his critics. Go, Richard, go.
Skip, I don't know what to say about that, Skip, because I don't know who he's talking to. He didn't give any names.
No names.
You know, stand 10 toes if you're gonna say what you got to say. Please mention me if you're talking about me. I don't remember saying there goes your guy. I do criticize the Dallas Cowboys when they lose because I'm on this show where Skip Bayless is going to jump up and stand on the table and hoop and holler when they win. And so if you can't take criticism, then don't take the praise either. Yeah. Because when we're sitting here calling you Defensive Player of the Year and they're saying you're the next Lawrence Taylor and all this, I don't see you sitting there saying, well, I don't deserve this praise. I don't deserve this. I'm not even in the same stratosphere as Lawrence Taylor. You just take the praise. But then when they criticize you for doing nothing in some of these games and having no statistical impact, then we're hating on a current player by being former players instead of analyzing the situation, analyzing what you did, what your impact was as the best player on their team, and saying they need their best player to play his best in order to win games. I think that's a fair analysis for anybody to make. And so if we're not allowed to ever criticize, this is football, we're only allowed to say positive things. Micah Parsons played great. Dak Prescott was phenomenal this week. And then when they don't play well, we got to say, well, Micah Parsons was great this week, and Dak Prescott played phenomenal. That's not what's going to happen. When you guys win, you get praised. When you don't win, they analyze why you didn't win. And usually it's because your best players didn't play their best. Mm-hmm. With great power, with great strength, with great talent comes great responsibility and accountability.
What is this? Spider-Man? Who are you, Uncle Ben? With great power must come great responsibility. This ain't the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I digress. One thing that I don't like is when a person acts dumb. As if they don't know what's going on. As if they can't turn their television to see what Micah Parsons is talking about. One thing I didn't show, because the segment was way too long, was the fact that Keyshawn Johnson named different legacy players who are now analysts. He named Michael Strahan, Rob Gronkowski, himself, Richard Sherman, Dan Orlovsky, Ryan Clark, and Swagoo. Do they actually turn on the rival networks to watch what's being said about the Dallas Cowboys, win or lose? If he had, he would see the daily contradiction that spews out of the mouth of Dan Orlovsky toward Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. If he even turned to his own channel, FS1, he could watch one ex-player who gets on the set and degrades Dak Prescott, calls him ass whenever the Cowboys are the topic of discussion. A person who gets on television and becomes visibly upset when the Dallas Cowboys do good and visibly celebrates when they lose. A person who burns metaphorical MVP ballots with Dak Prescott's name on it. Tune into ESPN where you have an ex-player smiling and making jokes after one of Micah Parsons' teammates went down for the season. Remember, just wait. Something bad always happens. With a smile on his face, no less, Cowboy Nation. Even Stephen A. had to check him. That's not true analysis. When an ex-player rubs their hands together at the thought of the Dallas Cowboys' loss, that's not true analysis. This is what makes me feel that Skip Bayless is not a true Dallas Cowboy fan, because a true Dallas Cowboy fan would see this and be disgusted by it, not laugh about it with his co-host. Now, let me talk to Micah Parsons real quick. Micah, don't know if you'll ever watch the Angry Cowboys fan channel, but when you do, just know this. I dig your podcast. I really do. But there are some things that you just shouldn't say. There are some things that you should just leave up to Cowboys Nation to say. Like Joy Taylor said, we have the loudest fan base. We see the crap that the Dallas Cowboys get put through when it comes to the talking heads you speak of. We see the goalpost continuously being moved by the guys. We see the expectations set upon the organization even before one snap is practiced during training camp. We hear the way some talking heads only big you up to create an even bigger downfall. Every single year, these talking heads put the Dallas Cowboys in the perfect category and can't wait for them to veer off the path they created for the team. Let us bring that to the forefront, Micah. We may not have the platform that you have, but a million voices makes one loud voice. Don't get on your podcast and complain because that's going to make you look weak in their eyes. Let us do it. They hate us already. They think we're so sensitive. Let us be that while you continue to big up the NFL on your podcast. Continue to be unbiased and impartial because there's still some legacy players out there that remain neutral, like the Ryan Clarks, the Michael Strahans, the Swagoos, the Dominic Foxworthys, the Damian Woodies, and Jeff Saturdays. Keep doing what you're doing, Micah. Just leave calling out the talking heads to us content creators. We got your back, dog. With that being said, let me go ahead and talk directly to Richard Sherman and Keyshawn Johnson. Guys, I don't feel like Micah Parsons was talking about all legacy players turned analysts. He was not speaking about the ones who can call it down the middle like they see it, who can leave their emotions at the crib and not bring them into the workplace. He's not talking about the Michael Strahans of sports commentary. He's not talking about the Ryan Clarks or Swagoos of sports commentary. He didn't name names, but guess what? I am. I got a feeling that Micah Parsons is talking about the Dan Orlovskys, the Bart Scotts, and the Shady McCoys of sports commentary. The ones who show their disdain for the Dallas Cowboys. The ones who have played the game and know how it is to have a talking head unjustly criticize them day in and day out. Sherm, just because you're getting the bag, don't forget that you had the same problem with the man that is sitting across from you. Not all analysts call it like they see it, guys. If you can't see that, then you're living in your own bubble. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys strive for excellence, but what team doesn't? I can guarantee you one thing, though. Not one team sparks joy and glee amongst the talking heads when they fail like the Dallas Cowboys. If it's about the Cowboys fans like Stephen A. says, let it be about us and don't wish negativity on our team out of spite. Take it out on us. Oh, I forgot. You can't take it out on us because Cowboys Nation is the biggest fan base in numbers, and it makes up the biggest portion of NFL fans. It would hurt your pockets if we stopped watching Undisputed and only started watching Cowboys content creators. This has been your boy, the Angry Cowboys fan. What did you think about the video, guys? Did you agree with what I had to say about Micah Parsons, or do you agree with what Undisputed had to say? Let me know in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, by all means, if you like the content, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, because like I said at the beginning of the video, it helps us out tremendously. Hit that like button so we can beat the algorithm and get out to even more Angry Cowboys fans. Ladies and gentlemen, this video struck a chord with me because I am one of those content creators out here who is calling out the talking heads for talking bad on the Dallas Cowboys and no one else. I know a lot more where that came from, but this is your boy, the Angry Cowboys fan. I'm out.